If you clicked on this video, you're most likely just getting into trading and now you're trying to look for a reason behind your entries. And it's a good thing that you found this video because the 3 major sessions will change your trading game completely. What are they? The 3 major sessions are New York, London, and Asia. These each happen at a different time, specifically a different time zone, where London focuses on the euro dollar, Asia session focuses on the JPY yen or Chinese currencies, and New York focuses on the US dollar. Each of these happen in a different time zone. For US traders, we specifically focus on New York session, and if you're in a EST or earlier time zone, you can also trade Asia session, which is my favorite. These each happen in a different time, and New York session seems to be like the biggest one. However, you could break it down into a few different parts. There's the New York silver bullet, in other words, the London close. We have the lunch hour. We have the PM session. And breaking it down, you realize that it's actually a smaller session that's composed of various different parts, which make it seem like a really big session. So I wanted to start this by saying to be careful of outdated content. So ICT is where I initially learned these kill zones from, all of my characteristics about these sessions, and I do recommend that each of you go into these videos and watch each of the kill zones for Asia, New York, and London. However, also be mindful of the fact that markets change over time and there's a lot more volatility and liquidity in the market. So some of the stuff like the pip targets that he says in these videos, you can kind of learn from your own experience and dive into the market with these teachings and kind of explore. Because nowadays there's so much volatility that you can aim for so much more depending on what you trade. So starting off with New York, we have the red folder news events. Specifically the 3 major ones which happen in New York, specifically around 8:30 a.m. EST. These are NFP, CPI, and FOMC. So you want to watch out for news, avoid it. Don't trade that day at all or trade after news with a specific model. Especially if you're trading ICT, it's possible. However, I'd still advise against it. In New York, we have the silver bullet and the PM session as I mentioned earlier. So these are the ones that you focus on trading. For Asia session, you look for the new day open because the daily candle closes after New York session, and in Asia session, it opens up right prior to the session. So in Asia, you can look for that power of 3 expansion, PO3 expansion. And from personal experience, I noticed that Asia session typically created the wick of the daily range, moving in the opposite direction, sweeping liquidity, and then running to expand the daily candle. So if you focus on Asia session, you look for this behavior with the wick. And as I mentioned earlier, you focus on the JPY pairs because JPY pairs are the pairs that actually move with a lot of volatility during this session. For London session, I only focus on 2 main things, the Judas swing, which is the first hour, and the silver bullet. Similar to New York session, there is the silver bullet. And the silver bullet typically runs on your bias, and there's like these 2 behaviors where it either continues Asia session based off of the Asia session leg that happened from Asia session, or it repeats the exact move that Asia session did where it runs up again, sweeps that liquidity, and then expands towards the bias again. So that's what we look for in London session. And that's going to be all, just a basic overview and kind of bringing it to your attention that there are 3 major sessions that you should focus on. Dive into each of these in the charts and figure out, first of all, which time zone aligns with your time zone, which session it aligns with, which one that you're going to be focusing on. Stick to that one session, master it, and make a full living off of it. That's going to be all for today's video. Catch you next time.